Hi, just 1 second. I gotta get me cup of my cup of water. How's everyone doing? Well, it's been an interesting Christmas. For me, it's actually been middling. I've had some cyber harassment and a call to 101 that was my own, but apart from that, my Christmas was actually pretty good. And I was explaining to my dad that even though I was spending Christmas by myself, it's one of the few times where I didn't actually feel lonely and I didn't feel like, it's weird because sometimes when you're in a room full of people, you can feel like you're on your own, you can like feel that loneliness set in. But yesterday, no, I was living it up. I was doing the things that I love to do. I was watching films that I love to watch. I got a good night's sleep even. I can't lie, this Christmas, like I expected it to be terrible, but I felt like I was looking forward to Christmas for a reason. And that reason became revealed to me Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. In spite of the little hiccups that usually come with gang stalking, it's been great for me. I can't lie to you guys. Even the electronic torture has died down, but I didn't want to come online and start bragging about shit because I know that so many TIs over Christmas have experienced the worst fucking electronic torture. And I'm so sorry for all of you that have had to endure that. Like I genuinely mean that. There's so much that TIs go through and it's just the absolute worst. And I'm so sorry that you've had to go through all of that. I wish I could take that away for all of you, and I genuinely mean that. Um but yeah, I had a really good Christmas so far, and it's Kwanzaa today. So happy Kwanzaa to the African diaspora. We out here. So so yeah, so happy Kwanzaa. It's an American holiday, but we started to celebrate it in Britain, like informally, but we started to celebrate it over here as well. If anybody tells you that Black Americans are not trailblazers, somebody lied to you. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. If somebody said that Black Americans don't trailblaze out here, somebody fucking lied. All right, we owe that culture all our respect, all our respect. Okay, so happy Kwanzaa, and yeah, so Christmas has been pretty good so far. I have had some like cyber harassment, as I said, but nothing major. I actually didn't want to talk about anything. I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't want to come on here and talk about anything. I just wanted to just reel off my, just say whatever was in my brain and see what the results were. Now I know people think that I usually do that, but I don't actually do that. I usually only come online when a purpose pissed me off or when there's something to report. I very rarely come online when I just want to ramble, when I just want to walk the ramble path and see what comes up. I don't normally do that, but I'm going to do that today. Okay. What I woke up and I realized that I had a heart to heart with my dad. We have quite a few of those, right? When I get on the phone and I talk to him, we have quite a few heart to hearts, which is quite nice actually. Um, and having a conversation with him, it made me realize that people really do not have respect for their own emotions at all. Let me prove it to you. The people that The emotions that people hate to talk about most are fear and love, right? Because when we're afraid of somebody, we're vulnerable, right? But when we love somebody, we're also vulnerable. But here's the kicker. Those are the only two emotions that every living human being has. All the other stuff that we feel, like joy, misery, fucking anger, euphoria, all these surface emotions or things that we think are emotions that we feel are actually bodily responses to the two core emotions that are in our brain. Literally, the people that the emotions that people hate and fear the most are the ones that are most common, that are the ones that the ones that we most have in common. We have fear and love in common. And those two emotions right there are the emotions of which every other feeling derives. And yet those are the ones that we hate most. We have absolutely zero respect for our feelings, and it really shows in the way that we interact with each other. There are people out there who are afraid every day, and that fear can make life really, really draining. But because we're taught to, to feel a level of disgust with fear, or feel a level of disdain for fear, what ends up happening is that when someone's afraid, they don't deal with that fear properly. They end up doing abusive things or engaging in abusive actions in a bid to kind of quell that fear. And it's the same when people love someone as well. There's a reason why the people that love each other the most are, sometimes they're the ones that hurt each other the most. It's because we're taught that love leaves you weak, or love is a liability. I mean, love is a liability, it's true. Financially anyway. We're taught that love leaves you weak, or love is a liability. And so we're taught to fear love as well. And that's why when we go into the outside world and we get all this shit, just for feeling, we come home and we take it out on the people that we truly love the most. It's as simple as that. We take our shit out on the people that we truly love the most, because we can't handle love either. So we're just skating by on the most surface feelings, surface bodily responses most of the time, and we're placing them in a hierarchy in accordance with which which feelings that we think will bring us the most power. So we don't have respect for our emotions. We don't honor our fear. We don't honor where it comes from. We don't say to ourselves, you know what? However I'm feeling, I have the right to feel it. Because if there are two things in the world that you should never be judged for, it's your physicality and it's your emotions. And yet those are the ones that get the most judgment, because we assume that somebody's physicality or somebody's emotions being negative or being atypical or being off, it means that something's wrong with what we're doing or what we're thinking. That's not always the case. You're not always going to be afraid because you've done something wrong. You're not always going to be in love with somebody because you're trying to be someone else. Sometimes fear and love can be completely justified. Sometimes you could be completely justified in being afraid of somebody. Sometimes you could be completely justified in loving someone as well. But this is the thing, because we're taught not to acknowledge fear, and we're taught to be afraid of fear almost, or show disdain for it, we don't admit when we're afraid, and we don't admit when we love someone. And when we choose to ignore those feelings and to hide those feelings, it can lead you to do destructive things. All along, your feelings could be telling you something, your body, and your emotions could be telling you something that is basic common sense, but you won't listen to it because you don't want to look vulnerable and you don't want to look weak. So fuck all that. Fuck all that. Tear it all down. Because our vanity can't stand the thought of being laughed at. Can't stand the thought of being made to look vulnerable. Can't stand the thought of putting ourselves out there and getting nothing back. So people end up doing destructive things in a bid to run away from their own fear, not realizing that their fear is compounding every single time they do something stupid. in a bid to prove they're not afraid, or in a bid to get rid of their fear. It's a rabbit hole that never stops. That's what this world is sustained on. It's sustained on fear of our emotions. It's sustained on 70% of the world acting atypically to their emotions and feelings. It like that's literally what this world consists of. 70% of people whose main primary source of power is their emotions, and we're told to just fucking ignore that and just be like, oh, you know, your feelings take too long, yeah, or your feelings are in. No, emotions are fucking important. And if you look at the world's problems, you look at so-called sociopaths and psychopaths, because we've been so hurt by them, and narcissists too, because we've been so hurt by them, and because of how much fuck shit that they've actually done to people, we like to convince ourselves that these people don't feel. These personality disorders are what fear of everything actually looks like. It doesn't look like the Cowardly Lion, where you're just all the time. Because even somebody who's nervy and shaky and just fucking trembles all the time and just even somebody like that, they're not afraid to be afraid. They show those fears outwardly. They're not afraid to be afraid. True fear doesn't look like somebody going like it doesn't look like that. True fear looks like a psychopath, looks like a sociopath, looks like a narcissist. It looks like the dark triad. That's what true fear in a person looks like. Because to have that level of malevolence inside you, and to have the wrong environment fueling those antisocial personality disorders, it takes fear realized. That is what true fear looks like. Not in the rest of us, not in those who don't have those disorders, but that is what true fear looks like in the sociopath themselves, in the narcissist themselves, in the psychopath themselves. Fear is what they are primarily made out of. It's fear on top of fear on top of fear on top of fear. I feel afraid of life, so I'm going to do some fucked up shit. I'm afraid of the consequences of that fucked up shit. I'm going to do more fucked up shit. I'm afraid of the consequences of the 2 layers of fucked up shit. I'm going to add a third. That is what true fear looks like. Again, it's very rare that people enjoy causing one another pain, but when it leads to the place where you enjoy causing people pain, the layers of fear built up in order to create that level of fear where you actually enjoy bringing people misery, that is not true love. That is fear on top of fear on top of fear on top of fear on top of fear, layered up not only in your own life experiences, but intergenerationally as well. When you see those antisocial personality disorders, that's what true fear looks like. It doesn't look like somebody shaking in a corner. It doesn't look like somebody pissing themselves in fright. It doesn't look like somebody soiling themselves in fright. Because that is a demonstration of somebody who's not afraid to be afraid. That is the demonstration. Somebody who feels themselves in fright, somebody who runs off in fright, somebody who's in terror, or what, somebody who lets their fear be what it is actually less afraid of life than the person in that dark triad. And I'm not just saying that so that, people who are naturally nervy can feel good about themselves. That's the truth. If you are outwardly nervy, you are less afraid of life than the most evil people in the world. And that's the fucking truth. That is the fucking truth. I'm telling you the truth. The people who are the least afraid of life are the people who will express that fear and who won't judge that fear and who will let that fear be what it is. You know why? Because it's those people who are less likely to do something fucked up in a bid to prove how brave they are. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Anyone who can admit they're scared, anyone who wears their fear on their sleeve, I guarantee that person has left some room for common sense. I guarantee you, anyone who's not afraid to be afraid or express that fear, that person has left room for common sense. So that's why I say, like, you've got to have respect for your emotions, because otherwise it just doesn't work. And love is the same thing. Anyone who feels genuine love for somebody and can admit it and can release it, and who can feel that love without possessing anybody, that's a sign of strength. You see, when I was growing up, I used to think that love was about possession. It was about, I can't live without you, you can't live without me. It's about, there is nobody else but you in my life. It's about needing you to the point where, you know, the health of myself as a human being is entirely dependent upon how available you are to me. And it's only now that I'm older that I see, no, that's not what love is. Love is love is not you like doing whatever somebody else tells you. It's not obsequiousness. Love is not obsequiousness, but nor is it possessiveness. You should have a love that's worthy of fighting for. But how do I put this? If you have a love in life that's worth fighting for, you will never fight the thing that you love itself. Let me explain. There's this movie called Blue Valentine, right? Where Dean and Cindy are at odds and their marriage is really going through a rough patch. I won't spoil the ending. Dean increasingly becomes aggressive with everyone else. And he becomes aggressive with Cindy, like passively, through causing problems at her job, through causing problems with her social life and all that type of stuff, right? So him doing that is a means of controlling her. And Cindy acknowledges how critical she can be, how vindictive she can be as well. She admits that, and she hates the fact that she is treating him like this. How do I put this? In that movie, you see an example of a man who's fighting for love, but he's fighting the thing that he loves itself in order to fight for that love. So in order to fight for his marriage, he's fighting the marriage itself. That's not what real love is. That's not a love worth fighting for. A love worth fighting for is when you fight for your marriage or when you fight for the love, but instead of attacking that person and attacking that person's interests, you attack whatever it is that is threatening it. Meaning, if it's you and your flaws that are causing the problems in that relationship, you will fight those flaws. You will confront those demons. You will go the extra mile to improve yourself in order to save the love that you have. Fighting for love, it doesn't involve trying to badger the person that you supposedly love into loving you back. It doesn't mean trying to take away everything that is of interest to them in order to keep them with you. What it looks like is, if I'm fighting for love, if I'm fighting for love that I truly value, if it's, you know, I will fight anything that's causing destruction to it. So Instead of fighting what my loved one is interested in, I'll fight whatever threatens that thing. Instead of fighting what my loved one's ambitions are, I'm going to fight anything that threatens that ambition. Instead of fighting with my loved one themselves, if I have any flaws in me, I will confront my own demons. I will do whatever it is that needs to be done in order to ensure that I still have that love there, because it is not about possessing the love that you have. It's about honoring it. But again, because we're taught to, fear on top of fear, on top of fear, on top of fear, on top of fear, that love that we're supposed to fight for, it ends up becoming like, we end up becoming like the immune system fighting its own body. That's how it transpires. When we fight love itself for itself, we become like the immune system fighting its own body. Counterproductive. Wears the body down. Doesn't do it any good. So this is the thing that I say when people don't respect emotions. We don't respect emotions. And the emotions that we respect the least are the ones that unite us all together. That's how fucked up this world has got us. It's crazy. My abscess is getting bigger. That is disgusting. Look at it. Is this heading to the other tooth? I think it's heading to the other tooth. It's getting worse, man. Damn. But the electronic torture here has died down, so I can open my mouth a bit wider than usual. So I can't wait to go to the dentist next year, get that shit drained out. Hopefully it doesn't get any bigger by the time I get to the dentist. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about today, just emotion. And how people have no respect for it. And how that lack of respect leads to people doing shitty things. But I know people don't want to hear that, but like, fuck it, I don't care. I don't care. Sorry. But yeah, like, no, it just makes you think, doesn't it? It just really makes you think. I lied when I said I wasn't going to do any more readings until the 5th. I did lie. But I'm not going to confirm any dates yet, because knowing how my emotions are set up, the ADHD and the BPD and whatever the fuck you want to call it, like the way I'm set up, it's like I can't really plan too far ahead, because something will always come up in the way. So the readings are going to resume from next year. I'm not going to say when, but it is going to be early. That's what I can tell you. So I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say for now. I got to make sure I clean up my shit. I don't really have anything to do today. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have nothing to do. Might just listen to music or watch films all day. I don't fucking know. It's lovely outside though. You want to see? Oh, hold on. It's lovely outside. It's cold, but it's beautiful. Oh, shit. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. It's a beautiful Kwanzaa Day or Boxing Day in Britain. Look at the channel there. Look at that. I never get tired of that view. It's beautiful. But yeah. I'm in my underwear. I probably shouldn't. I haven't got any trousers on. I probably shouldn't open the window that wide with no trousers on. Hopefully they can't see anything. But yeah, it's a beautiful day outside. I should go out walking, but I can't be asked. I can't be asked. I'm one of those people where cards on the table, all right? I'm one of those people, I don't like to go out unless I have money to go out. And right now, bank account's looking just a little bit on the low side. So, because when I go out, I like to make a day of it. I like to, I think it's a habit I picked up from my mum. I like to go out and, maybe have a sit down dinner, just have a little holiday, I'm in the perfect city for it. Like, just go out and make a holiday out of it. That's what I like to do every single time I go out. I know it's unreasonable, especially considering that I'm not rich, but that's what I like to do. So I haven't been out, even though outside it, like in this weather, fucking beautiful. You want to go around this village when it's sunny like that, and you want to see the animals come out, and you want to see all that beautiful countryside. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But again, I'm a spoilt bitch. I like to go out when I like to go out when I have money. Even though, like, that's no excuse. I should be just going out there every day, but I can't be asked with it. I'm too spoiled. I can't be asked. But yeah. I think the main thing is that I always share with my fellow TIs when I'm feeling miserable or when something's wrong, and I just wanted to share one of the few times when I actually felt good about life. It's only been, what, 9 days since the crying incident? It's only been 9 days. Hasn't been that long. But I was feeling relatively good. And I wanted to actually have something like that to share with TIs for once, not just the miserable moments. Because as soon as the camera comes off, I'm usually living it up. Like, truth be told, I come online to vent about what the gang stalkers are doing to me, and it feels really good to vent. But then after I vent, 9 times out of 10, it's very likely that instead of crying my eyes out, you're gonna find me playing music and dancing and doing my readings and fucking just living it up, just normal life, just living it up. That's what I do when the cameras are off. I'm having fun. In fact, I'll be real with you. When I do Empress Justice Tarot, and I'm loud as shit, and I'm making jokes and cracking jokes, and and singing every other word, like that's actually me. That's actually the real me. This person who comes online and talks constantly about people who are dicking with her, that's not the real me. I mean, it is the real me, but it's like, it's a part of me. It's the part of me that probably I like the least. But the everyday me is the one that does my tarot readings. And it's not because my tarot readings are where I have the most fun. It's because that's just genuinely who I am anyway. If you're like, I'm the type of person everybody else would find boredom, but I always find something joyful in that boredom. And it's something that I learned from my mother. I always find it, she had a way of taking the most mundane situations, like a car drive to a stationery shop, and she would turn it into this huge party. And that's what I do every single day of my life. Like, 9 times out of 10, I turn the most boring incidents in my life into a huge fucking party. I'm just dancing my ass off. I'm singing. But that's me. That's just who I am. And truth be told, I've always been like that. I've always been like that. I feel if you feel things deeply enough to get pissed off when somebody says something awful, if you feel deeply enough to make a video every time somebody dicks around with you, then it should stand to reason that you also feel deeply enough to turn every mildly calm or mildly happy occasion into something worth celebrating. It stands to reason. If I can feel really emotional, like in one end, I can feel really emotional on the other end. And I'm not necessarily talking about mania, but if somebody feels things very deeply, then it's not going to be doom and gloom all the time. That's just the way it is. And for me, it's not for the most part, not least because I bounce back really, really quickly from things. I do bounce back really quickly from things. It doesn't matter what it is. I bounce back incredibly quickly from a lot of shit. I do. And, it's not something, again, it's not something that I choose to be. It's something that I just naturally am. The things that it would take other people several weeks to get over, I get over in a matter of days. And that's both emotionally and physically. I'm the type to bounce back very, very quickly from things. And I'm the type to kind of be very resilient emotionally and kind of like, I'll cry, I'll stomp, I'll rage, I'll scream even. And then a couple of hours later, I'm just normal. That's how I am. I express how I feel physically. And then once I get it out of the way, I'm just normal. Do you know what I mean? Happy even. I'm a naturally happy person. Even in the midst of all this shit that I'm going through, I'm actually a naturally happy person. It's just that with the things going on with gang stalking, all of that is evidence. Now, I don't talk about what's going on all the time, but if there are crimes committed against you, if you don't at least talk about what's going on, then how are people going to know that crimes are being committed against you? That's the only reason I even talk. That's the only reason I even talk. But that's not the real me. The real me is not this miserable person who finds fault with everything. I'm not like that. I mean, I'll tell the truth about the way the world is, but I ain't got time to find fault in everything. I'm very opinionated, but it's a very different enterprise from deliberately looking for something to find fault in. Nah, fuck all that. I got my life. I got shit to do, man, and I got my life to live. Even though I don't have shit to do today, I have nothing to do today. Nothing. I'm online, going down the Ramble path because I have nothing to do today. Absolutely fuck all. As soon as this camera comes off, I have fuck all to do. I've done everything that I need to do. I've done everything that I need to do. As soon as this camera comes off, I ain't doing shit. That's the truth. That is the truth. But I am still way too busy to be focusing on nitpicking. I'm too busy for that. I will never have enough time to constantly focus on what makes me miserable. If I've got some feelings, I'll get them out of the way. But then it's time to live. And that's pretty much all I've ever wanted ever since I was young. I thought I wanted to be famous. I thought I wanted to be wealthy. But I actually just wanted to feel good about myself. I know. I'm shocked too. That's all I ever wanted. Never wanted anything else. That's all I ever want. All I want is to feel good about myself. I could be rich, I could be poor, I don't give a fuck. All I want to do is look in the mirror and see a fucking goddess. And that's it. I don't care about anything else. Can't give a fuck about anything else. I'm sorry. That's it. Anyway, I gotta go. I have a whole day of absolutely nothing to do. So I'm gonna get to the nothing that I'm doing, and you guys can have fun doing whatever it is that you guys do. I love you very much. Peace and blessings. Mwah. And my fellow TIs, I know how strong you are. Baby, we all know. That's why they can't stop you. Bye-bye.